chemical as well as medical gases. He's going to listen to a briefing by the experts of the factory. He's giving a scale model. His Excellency is now looking at a scale model of the factory, and he's listening to a briefing. He's being updated by the officer, because actually it's run by the army. The army officer responsible for the factory. He's giving updating to the president. He's saying that we have factories that we are going to produce chlorine gas, as well as medical and industrial gases as well. Your Excellency, as the officer says, Your Excellency, we had the honor of Your Excellency coming in December 2016 to the first factory, which was declared then it was going to produce chlorine gas. And today, 2 years on, 2 more factories have already been created to produce medical as well as industrial gases. Ultra hydrogen oxide is produced by using electroanalysis cells. The method of electrical or electroanalysis cells or panels are used to produce ultra hydrogen oxide gas. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has already listened to a quick briefing on the factory, watching or looking at the scale model of the factory, showing the diverse sections of the plant.
والصلاة الله 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 على رجالة مصر الله 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 قالها الجيش والشعب معاه قالها الجيش والشعب معاه الجيش المصري الجبار.
Right into the hall where he's going to declare open the 2 factories, as the internal announcer has already said. In the name of God, the Beneficent and Most Merciful, quoting some verses of the Holy Quran, it's Allah and His Prophet will be seeing your deeds on the day of the resurrection, unquote. Your Excellency, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, the audience, we are welcoming you today to these new factories in order to declare open ceremonially these 2 new factories. It's a new achievement, a new accomplishment which has already been added to the industrial power of the nation. Al-Nasr company for intermediate chemicals has already set up these 2 factories in order to reinforce the capacity of chemical producing. We are today celebrating the inauguration of these 2 factories. The first of them is the factory for industrial and medical gases, in order to cater to local demand for industrial and medical gases. The third factory, so we are opening 3 factories. The third one is for producing ultra hydrogen oxide gas. which comes into the processing of a lot of initial industrial processes, like, and we are ceremonially inaugurating the ceremony with
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن في ذلك لعبرة لمن يخشى أأنتم أشد خلقا أم السماء بناها رفع سمكها فسواها وأغطش ليلها وأخرج ضحاها والأرض بعد ذلك دحاها أخرج منها ماءها ومرعاها والجبال أرساها متاعا لكم ولأنعامكم صدق الله العظيم.
صدق الله العظيم. ونحن ما زلنا في أيام شهر الانتصارات والبطولات.
Today we are still, well, the October victory are still within us. We just this month we marked the 46th anniversary of the October War, and when this month comes round every year, new accomplishments happen to be added to the national economy of the country. Now, this month, these 3 factories have already been added to the processing and to industrial capacity of this country. Now the floor is being given to His Excellency Major General Mustafa Amin, the Commander of the National Service Authority of the Armed Forces. In the name of God, the Beneficent and Most Merciful, Your Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the President of the Arab Republic of Egypt, the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, dear audience, acting on your presidential instructions, the National Service Authority or Agency of the Armed Forces has been adding new accomplishments and setting up new projects everywhere in the country in line with the national development plans of the country. All subsidiary companies affiliated to the National Service Authority of the Armed Forces have been creating new facilities, either the areas of farming or animal breeding, livestock breeding, living on these farming areas. These subsidiary companies have also set up complexes for heavier industries like marble, cement, granite, fertilizers and chemicals as well, with a view to catering to growing local demand of the local market. And in addition, by doing so, we are making optimal use optimal use of the national wealth, of the national resources of the country. In the years to 2018, 2019 alone, we have already the National Service Agency of the Armed Forces, by creating such industrial facilities, has provided thousands and thousands of job opportunities to young people. Your Excellency President, last August, the Al-Nasr company for intermediate companies had the honor of having Your Excellency inaugurating a giant complex for phosphatic fertilizers. Today, 2 months on, we are having the honor of Your Excellency opening this factory, this complex, which encompasses 2 factories. One for producing medical and industrial gases, while the other one for ultra hydrogen oxide. They are situated in a very vast area at Abu Rawash at Giza province, and by adding these 2 factories, all factories and plants run by a Nasr company will have had 37 factories dotted along Al-Giza, Abu Rawash and Al-Fayoum provinces. The 2 factories for medical and industrial gases, which is going to be opened today, has to do with producing medical and industrial gases. These 2 factories are made all the more valuable because they are going to meet the local needs of the market, needed by hospitals, medical centers, as Al-Nasr company has been producing distinctive high-quality gases. Nitrogen, argon gases are also being produced by these 2 factories, and because they are needed by a lot of petroleum as well as paper and other factories in their processing, in the industrial processing. We are planning to produce 900 cubic meters of argon, of oxygen as well. Thank God, we have already set up a factory for producing ultra hydrogen oxide, which this factory, the one to produce ultra hydrogen oxide, which is going to be opened by Your Excellency, will be the first in the Middle East region. This factory becomes all the more important because it's going to meet local demand for this production of this gas, ultra hydrogen oxide, rather than importing it from outside at a very high cost. The industrial capacity of ultra hydrogen oxide will be producing 23,000 tons per annum annually. Just as the National Service Agency of the Armed Forces has always been interested in producing highest quality production, Al-Nasr company for intermediate chemicals has already won high quality ISO certificates, and in terms of preserving the environment, meeting healthcare specification, the Nasr intermediate company has also been awarded relevant certificates from international ISO awarding agencies. Among the consumers will be MP Linde of Germany, MP Linde of Germany are among the corporations making inputs into the creation of these 2 factories. I've also decided constructive cooperation, collaboration displayed by all relevant ministries and agencies of the country. Your Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the President of the country as well as the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces. This achievement being declared open today, we will have the honor of having Your Excellency opening it. This achievement wouldn't have been possible had it not been for your presidential instructions and the help of God. And may Allah, God, help us all to serve our nation. A documentary film is going to be displayed now to Your Excellency and the audience on the diverse sections of these two factories under the title of The Factories as an Opening for Hope and Life.
النفس ده بالنسبة له هو الحياة. كوباية مية نقية تساوي حياة. أرض خضراء عافية حياة. وعشان المسؤولية كبيرة والمهمة.
The factories as opening of life, as an opening a window of hope and life. Work has been going around on these two factories before they are to be opened, and even after the opening will be around the clock. El-Nasr company for intermediate chemicals, which is situated at Fayoum province, at Fayoum governorate as in Giza, is a factory not only producing gases or chemicals, but the company also produces hope for everyone. In the year 2004, the water desalination sector, the water producing sector, which produces the Nile water into pipelines, had been crippled by a deep crisis in the production of the chemical agent alum, which is used to desalinate water and to clear water of any unwanted materials. And the El-Nasr company for intermediate chemicals has contributed a lot in that year, since that year, 2004, in resolving and meeting local demand for alum. We have already embarked on a project to produce phosphatic fertilizers, because before this factory was created, Egypt's phosphate, raw material of phosphate, would be exported to other countries raw, without adding any value to it. Now this raw material of phosphate is made into phosphatic fertilizers. That's to say, we have successfully added value to the raw material to make it into fertilizers.
انهم خلال الفتره اللي جايه من 2017 لحد النهارده الحمد لله ان هم هيعملوا المستحيل لتوفير كميه الارجون اللي مطلوبه للمشروع.
اما قطاع الكهرباء.
Argon gas has also been made available. Processing water within power stations has also been undertaken by El-Nasr company for intermediate. And every household in Egypt uses tap water. Tap water is being cleared by chemicals produced by El-Nasr company for intermediate companies. And since our ambitions have no ceiling. Today we are declaring open at Abu Rawash 2 new factories. The first is the number 3 factory for chemical and industrial gases to meet local needs of gases, either used medically. Here we produce liquefied oxygen needed by hospitals. According to the health insurance system, hospitals have been sprawling on across the country, and there has been a more growing need for such liquefied oxygen. Liquefied oxygen is being provided by Al-Nasr company for intermediate gases, for intermediate chemicals. Argon, we are to produce argon gas at a capacity of 1 million cubic meter annually. All chemicals produced by Al-Nasr company for intermediate chemicals come into the processing of diverse chemical and industrial processes, even by other industries like paper mills, fertilizers, which in the past did not find enough supplies of these on the local market, and had to squander huge amounts of hard currency to import these materials from other countries. Hydrogen, already produced as a subsidiary product produced by chlorine industry, is going to be processed into ultra hydrogen oxide. Ultra hydrogen peroxide is going to be produced by the surplus hydrogen auxiliary, which was used as an auxiliary product when producing chlorine. We have state-of-the-art testing laboratories and integrated control systems encompassing the entire process from the raw material up to the time the final product is being produced. Before we started to build these 2 factories, we had taken into account every specification, technical specification, which was having to do with the preserving of the environment. The factories has been awarded 4 international certificates: quality, preserving the environment, as well as ISO, the Egyptian ISO award. The company, Al-Nasr company for intermediate chemicals, has opened its doors wide open to 4,000 young people to be employed by these 2 factories, to be trained, and when the farming land produces sprouts with green plants, and when people breathe life, the company gives us all hope, and hope for a brighter future. The factory, the number 3 factory for medical and industrial gases, represent a large stride in producing oxygen and all other medical gases, which reinforces the building capacity of the Egyptian economy, as well as enhances the productivity of Al-Nasr company for intermediate. Now the floor is being given to His Excellency Staff Major General Mukhtar Abdul Latif, the Company Chief of Al-Nasr Company for Intermediate Gases. Staff Major General Mukhtar Abdul Latif is being given the floor because he's the chief of the board of directors of the company. In the name of God, the beneficent and most merciful, Your Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the Supreme Commander, who also doubles as the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces. Dear audience, we welcome you all to Al-Nasr Company for Intermediate Chemicals. Many happy returns to Your Excellency on the 46th anniversary of the October War. May so many happy returns come to Your Excellency and the entire Egyptian people. The headquarters of the company at Abu Rawash, where you are, Your Excellency, now has the honor of your presence in order to declare open these two factories already set up by Al-Nasr Company for Intermediate Companies, which has been the country's oldest facility for producing chemicals. The creation of these two factories has been a major, daunting challenge for the company because they needed a solid infrastructure, either for manpower, like residential areas for the manpower, or even for the industrial facilities needed to produce. Allah, God is credited, and you as well is credited, and then your Excellency is also credited with giving impetus to all efforts to create these two factories. Over the last 5 years, 15 new factories have been added in order to serve diverse industries and to serve the overall economic development plan of the government. We have added four factories in order to produce chlorine and caustic soda, in addition to some other chemicals, in order to provide all sectors of the state with much needed chemicals. Four factories have been added to produce pesticides as well as fertilizers in order to serve the farming sector. 4 more factories have been added in order to produce insecticide, household harmful insects. 4 factories to produce chemical and industrial gases much needed by hospitals and other plants, industrial plants. 2 more factories have also been added to produce liquefied and solid alum needed by water pipeline system, by waterworks. All waterworks dotted across Egypt in order to clear the Nile water out of all unwanted material have always been in a dire need for liquefied and solid alum. Sulfuric acid is also being produced by the company. Sulfuric acid is a major substance which comes into the processing of the diverse materials. Fiberglass is also being produced by the company in order to serve diverse needs of all sectors. The company and in addition to all these factories produced over the past over the past 5 years, 2 more factories have already been added to produce chemical as well as industrial gases. That's to say, the 2 factories to be opened by Your Excellency today. and these two factories also produce argon needed by various industrial processes. And argon we have been drawing on al-Dhuhr oil find, natural gas find, in order to get, we've been drawing on al-Dhuhr oil find in order to get argon gas without having to import it from outside the country. The company, by setting up all these factories, has added new social dimension, has been serving a new social dimension by creating more jobs, providing more job opportunities for a lot of young people. We have been providing more than 100 hospitals dotted across the nation with liquefied oxygen as well as gaseous oxygen as well, to meet the needs of oxygen. The El-Nasr company for intermediate gases has also been setting up pipelines in order to extend pipelines of oxygen to hospital patient rooms as well. Hospital fumigators have also been provided with gas. Secondly, the ultra hydrogen oxide has been really the new accomplishment by this company. Hydrogen, the ultra hydrogen oxide material factory, the ultra hydrogen oxide factory has been the first in the country. Otherwise, ultra hydrogen oxide would have been imported from other countries. Ultra hydrogen oxide is used by the petroleum sector and some other important sector. The factory is going to produce 15,000 tons in order to provide enough supplies of hydrogen oxide. Actually, hydrogen is being produced as an auxiliary product through the processing of chlorine. Let's say when producing chlorine gas, hydrogen is being produced as an auxiliary or secondary product. We are going with this ultra hydrogen oxide product, we are going to meet local needs, and the service will be exported. Supplies, construction, providing machinery, fittings, operation have been provided by 20 corporations, local and foreign ones. Some Egyptian textile companies, textile factories have already been provided by ultra hydrogen oxide, and much to the pleasure of these textile manufacturers which would have otherwise imported ultra hydrogen oxide from other countries at a higher cost. With the creation of these two factories here at Abu Rawash, the headquarters, and the two branches at Ain al-Sukhna and Al-Fayoum will have employed 4,000 people, and the company undertakes the training and qualification and qualifying and training of these 4,000 workers. In addition to 20,000 indirect job opportunities in distributing in the form of indirect job opportunities represented by distributing the product and similar other jobs.
لمنع أي انبعاثات ضارة
in order to avert any harmful detrimental emissions from the chimneys of the factory. All international world recognized specifications have been well observed.
الإضافية
Additional procedures have been implemented.
مصنع الغازات الطبية والصناعية
The industrial and medical gases have been fitted with noise suppressors, that's to say to suppress noise, and filters to clear the air of any unwanted material,
الخاص بالمصنعين وإعادة تدوير المياه
and recycling water
وري المساحات الخضراء
and irrigating a large area of farming land. As Your Excellency has seen,
بزيادة المسطحات الخضراء
we have been eagerly interested in
على مدى التزام
enlarging and expanding the greenery around the factory
لمنع أي تلوث
in order to avert any pollution
بها.
either for the factory or for the surrounding region.
اسمحوا لي سيادتكم
Allow me,
أن أتقدم
Your Excellency President,
والامتنان
allow me to extend heartfelt gratitude to all workers, all employees of Al-Nasr company for intermediate chemicals. In doing so, I am calling them to do doubled efforts in order to meet with the chemicals, with the production, to meet growing needs for chemicals needed by the local factory, by the local market.
أفضل وقت ممكن بإذن الله تعالى. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
In the name of God, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, the commander of the factory, or the director of the factory, is quoting a verse of the Holy Quran in which God says, Allah says, do your deeds, because on the day of the resurrection, it's Allah, His Prophet, and all believers will be seeing your deeds. Unquote. I'm allowing Your Excellency President to make you a present of a copy of the Holy Quran, to be the best thing to preserve and safeguard Your Excellency. The commander of the factory is making a present to His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, a present of a copy of the Holy Quran, to be the best safeguard for His Excellency. We ask Your Excellency's permission to start the inspection tour. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is going to start the inspection tour. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is making some remarks before he starts his own inspection tour. Thank you very much. I really feel grateful to you all for opening these two factories. All gratitude, all heartfelt thanks are due to everyone who has contributed to the creation of these two factories. The armed forces has been undertaking this mission of adding new factories to the industrial capacity of the country, and when the armed forces is doing so, we must appreciate this effort. Should be well received by the public. It should be well appreciated.
في مصانع القوات المسلحة اللي هي زي ما انتم شفتوا ان في بعض منها منتجات استراتيجية غير مسموح لينا في مصر انها تتأثر بأي
Well, actually, we have seen that civil factories have been capitalizing on the products made by armed forces factories.
وضرورية جدا وبنقول عليها
The armed forces factories, including these two and the other one produced before, have been producing substances and chemicals which are indispensable for the local market. The local market cannot be allowed to be badly impacted by any loss or any shortage of any of these chemicals.
اللي احنا بنتكلم عليها احنا بنتكلم في عشرات الالاف يعني هنا واحنا كنت اتكلمت برضه في
I've said this before,
بنتكلم عليها اللي هي زراعات
farming,
تفتكروا
greenhouses,
في 10,000 فدان صواب زراعي
where imagine that when we have 10,000 fedans covered with greenhouses,
شاب هيشتغلوا فيها
a lot of young people will be employed by these greenhouse farms.
في تغيير وفي
By doing so, we are giving hope to young people.
احنا
because we are creating them jobs rather than staying idle, staying unemployed. And also by doing so, we have been enhancing the concept of partnership.
محمد نجيب قلنا يلا اتفضلوا معانا خشوا وشاركوا معانا في
You remember that when I was declaring open the greenhouse project at Mohammed Naguib military base on the northern coast on the Mediterranean. I have said before, when opening this greenhouse area, that we have declared open. Ever since then, I've declared open any partnership attempt by any other civil works or any civil company to come into partnership. These companies contributing to these greenhouses and all other areas of industry should be listed on the stock exchange, so that every Egyptian citizen may have the right to buy shares, to buy stocks, to buy shares of the stocks of these companies on the stock exchange.
كل اللي احنا بنتكلم فيه ده اللي عايز يتفضل يخش انت هتخش على مشروع زي ما
I'm inviting everyone to buy, not to hesitate to buy stocks of these companies, to buy shares of these companies on the stock exchange. I'm inviting everyone in order to avert any troublesome procedures. So I'm welcoming everyone to buy shares of these companies.
او الشركات دي تنزل البورصه عشان ندي فرصه لمساهمه اكبر للمصريين ان هم يكونوا واحنا شغالين في الموضوع ده بقالنا يجي 3 سنين.
We've been working on this business for 3 years on partnership, but listing companies on the stock exchanges involves a great deal of procedures. Of course, I can't talk about them now, but we are going to list some of these companies on the stock exchange to declare the way open for everyone to buy shares. I've been talking about Egypt's sovereign fund. Egypt's sovereign fund will be having a lot of funds coming right into it, because the proceeds of these will be channeled into Egypt's sovereign fund. It will have trillions. I've already approached the Prime Minister on this, didn't I? Yes, the Prime Minister is answering yes. All these companies involve Egyptian-owned assets, which will be listed on the stock exchange and will be allowed to grow further and further. I'm talking this to the media representatives and to all Egyptians. Don't ever influence it. Uncertainty has been prevailing for 80 years, and attempts at dividing and splitting people from each other. This is a status which we have to continue to persistently resist. What we have been achieving, it's God, it's Allah who is credited with what we have been doing, with what we have been manufacturing. They are in continued hostility with any achievement. You may describe them as evil people or lying people or evil people. You may describe them as either evil or whatever. You may give them any characteristic you may give them too. Don't be hesitated by anything said about you. I'm telling you that the Egyptian people fully realizes what's going on around it. But we have to assert on every occasion that the media has an important role an important act to do. It's a war of social media sites and a warfare of social media warfare and rumor warfare against the Egyptian people. I'm telling the media and officials to talk realistically by citing, by quoting figures, quoting statistics to the people so that they may realize themselves what the government has been undertaking to do. We have been suffering from this not now but for quite some time. Uncertainty and skepticism and throwing into everything into a state of skepticism or skeptically regarding everything has been a characteristics of them. And so it remains that all institutions of the state should be present, should be there in order to face up to any rumor or any move. I'm telling representatives of the people at the House of the Representatives in Parliament have an important role to play. Go as representatives of the people, go do your inspection tours and report what you see and what you discover to the people, what you uncover to the people. And actually this is not an instruction. The public prosecutor, the general public prosecutor is the guardian of society, the guardian of the Egyptian people. All channels, all past channels of action, channels of action did go in line with our requirements at the time. But now a new situation has been unfolding. A new situation has been unfolding in front of the state, in front of the government. You have been working and should be working all the time to serve the country, to serve the nation, rather than not to serve the regime, the ruling regime. You are here doing business in the factory, doing whatever you do at all production sites in order to serve the country, to serve the nation. If someone comes up and levels certain charges and certain accusations at any public figure, well, the public prosecutor and all relevant bodies have to stop, have to dwell upon it, have to investigate into it. The accusations made are either correct or not correct. Who is to decide on the correctness of these charges or these accusations? It's Parliament. Your Excellency, Dr. Abdallah. Yes, Dr. Abdallah says yes. It's Parliament. It's the House of Representatives who is in charge of deciding on the correctness or the validity of this charge or this accusation or not. When a query is being lodged by an MP, well, an MP may file or lodge a query against any public figure. Inquisition is being made by MPs to Parliament. All government institutions should be made in charge of defending the entire Egyptian state. Otherwise, we'll be vulnerable. We'll all be vulnerable to risks. Well, we should be prepared. We should be more geared up to face more challenges than the ones we have been facing. because we have been adding accomplishments and well, so in view of this, all institutions interpellations should be lodged by MPs in order to validate or invalidate, to substantiate or unsubstantiate such accusations. My heartfelt thanks and gratitude to everyone who has contributed. So, well, from now on, we are going to go on opening new projects, even if this is much to the detriment of evil people who will not be satisfied or be sad or be grieved if we see us opening or adding new achievements to what we have been doing over the past years.
عشان بس ايه؟ لا ما هو احنا مش هنسيبهم ان هم يعني يأذوا بعض.
We will not let them let them badly or adversely impact our morale. Our morale should not be adversely impacted by them. We are doing this not for everyone, but for God's sake first of all, for Allah's sake, for God's sake first of all, and then for the sake of our forthcoming generations, for our children. I do hope that we will all be vigilant. Thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the President is going to make his own inspection tour of the
خلي لبلدك أكبر حيز راجع بقى رجوك حساباتك شغلك حيخليك تتميز نام للساعة 2 ما تنامش ما انت سنين انت ما بتقومش احنا بنعمل كده لولادنا من قاعد معظمنا حيمشي قول انا واهب تعب